everybody. Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Another 50-point battle of War Machine Hordes. This is my number 5 for War Machine Hordes. I'm getting pretty proficient at it. It is I, Lord Tremendous of Cygnar, versus Holy of Holies of the Protectorate. And this is the first time I've ever encountered this army. This is so exciting. After I got done playing my game against Death Holy Death, another guy, never met him before, cool guy, he had a Protectorate army and he wanted to play a game, and I was more than happy to, because this game is like heroin. I just can't get enough. I mean, not that I've ever tried heroin. You know what I mean. Don't act like that. But anyway, man, I was so excited. So I played the exact same list from the last time because I enjoyed it and I wanted to really try it out again. I like Nemo. What can I tell you? Not to mention having 5 jacks. It's really exciting. And he set up his army, and we knocked the crap out of each other, and it's super fun. Really good game. You're going to enjoy it, and if you don't, well, I apologize. I failed you. But sit back, relax, and get ready to see how we beat the snot out of each other.
Are you ready for a war?
Here's my army, and as you can see, it's the exact same one I just played. Here's the closer up there. I've still got Commander Adept Nemo with his Sentinel, Defender, and Centurion attached to him. I also still have the Squire on him because I really, really like the Squire. And as you can see, I forgot to erase the 2 little pips off the Squire from my last game. Hey, I jumped into this one. Super excited. What can I tell you? Then I've still got my Gun Mage Captain Adept, as well as my Arcane Tempest Gun Mages, because I think those are going to be a staple in my army. I just really, really like them. And here's the rest of them. There's the Baby Caster. Unfortunately, it's not the Baby Caster from last time. He was eviscerated. So this is his brother, Baby Caster 2. And let's hope he survives the game, shall we? He's still got the Hunter and the Hammersmith attached to him. Next up, I still have my Sword Knights with the Sword Knight Officer and Standard attached to them, as well as my Stormsmith Stormcaller, because I had a point left over. Here's my opponent's list. As you can see, it's almost as big as mine. Here's a closer up one. His general, his warcaster is Fiora, the Protectorate of the Flame. I believe I'm saying that right. Really, really beautiful model. He did a great job painting it. I got some good pictures of it, so you'll definitely see him. Then he's got some Holy Zealots, Monolith Bearers, Vassals of Menoth, Hierophant, and Delivers. And I'm acting like I know what any of those are. I'm reading the cards. I'm sorry. And then, of course, here's the rest of his army, the Daughters of the Flame. And as far as I'm concerned, these girls all have to die. They are insane. A choir of Menoth, and those are the guys that sing, I guess, certain like perfect hymns and make it so that the warjacks that he uses are even better, or you can't target them with stuff. It's really crazy, some of the abilities they have. Then he's got a Covenant, I think, of Menoth, and a Vassal Mechanic, which is exactly what it sounds like. He runs over and he heals, or repairs anyway, the jacks as you damage them throughout the battle, which Cygnar has that ability too. I just haven't seen that yet, so I need to get those guys, because I like jacks, especially repaired ones. And here are his jacks. He's got a Reckoner, which is his heavy warjack. He's got a Repenter, which is a light warjack that has a huge flamethrower attached to it. And a Redeemer, which has like a big rocket launcher on it. It can fire like 3 AoE 3s, per turn. And they're actually very cool. He's got this cool effect. The Protectorate of Menoth have this cool effect where a lot of their stuff basically sets you on fire. It's not basically, it's exactly what it does. It sets you on fire. And so what happens when you're on fire is a little marker, is next to you, which is pretty cool. And then at the beginning of your turn, it's before, I think, you actually pass out focus, but it's after you get rid of all your focus from the previous turn, you roll to see if your burning guys can put the flames out. On a 1 or a 2, the flames go out. On a 3, 4, 5, or 6, you take a POW 12 hit. So if you're infantry, you're a corpse. Mechs are usually okay. My jacks and stuff were you're generally okay. But if you're infantry, your cinders, pal. And it's a really neat mechanic, and that's one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this game. And granted, I've only faced this is the second army I've ever faced. Well, yeah, second army I've ever faced, and they're so vastly different from each other. Like the Protectorate are nothing like the Scorn. The Scorn are nothing like the Protectorate, and they're neither of those armies are anything like Cygnar. So, granted, maybe as I play other Scorn or other Horde or other War Machine armies, I'll start to see similarities or whatever. But as of this moment, as of this recording, it's so neat because every time I play a new army or a new faction, it's like it's a brand new game. I've never faced this before. My tactics have to change. Not that I've really used any yet, but everything about it is so much different, so new. It's really really exciting. Here's deployment, and as you can see, I'm kind of grouping my guys up a little bit different now. I still have my gun mage and my hunter over by the hill on the left side, but everything else is kind of clumped together because I realized in my last game, I really wanted them closer up to kind of support each other. I do have the knights in the middle because I still like the idea of using them as a screen, but the defender, the centurion, the hammersmith, and the sentinel are right next to each other. Battle brothers till the end. Babycaster's right behind his hammersmith. Nemo's right behind the defender. I've got my sword knights with the officer banner in the middle there, getting ready to screen. I've got the gun mages ready to do their thing. I've got the stormsmith over on the right side because his job is to get all the way over by that rock on my opponent's, well, left flank, but our right flank, and just start throwing spells at those guys. And then the gun mage officer and the hunter are going to stay up on that hill and blast anything that comes close because I don't know what to expect. And honestly, I'm not that good at this game yet, so that's the best I could do. Here's my opponent's right flank. I don't know what these guys are. The guy in the back with a book, he basically buffs units, gives them, well, it's more like defensive spells. He makes it like you can't shoot at them, you can't hurt them with magic, stuff like that. And then the guys in front of him that look like they have big bottle rockets, that's exactly what they have. They literally launch a bunch of rockets at you. And it's crazy because they're really inaccurate, but if they hit, they do crazy amounts of damage, set you on fire, and fire bad. Fire very bad. And then over here in his center, he's got some crazy psycho women with very sharp knives. They're advanced deployment. And what that means is instead of having to deploy them 10 inches in, they can deploy 16 inches. So it gives them a slight advantage. It's not huge. It's not like game changing. But tactically and stuff like that, they can be 6 inches further up the board at the beginning of the game. And therefore, they could be in your face 6 inches sooner. So, it's something else. Then in the back there, he's got his Reckoner, his Redeemer, and his Remedial. Oh, gosh, I don't even know what the third jack is called. Something with an R. I'm sure it's R. Redeemer, Repenter. That's what he is, and the Reckoner. The Reckoner is that big one in the middle with like the big mace-looking thing. Let's see. The Redeemer has the mace, so he's on our left, and is it the No, the Repenter is on the right, and he's got the flamethrower, little flail-looking thing. So he's really dangerous. Behind them are his general, I believe, or not his general, but his commander, his warcaster. She's in the middle because she does a lot of cool stuff. And then the guys carrying the crosses and stuff, that's the choir. And they sing for a jack, and each one can sing for a jack. They have to sing the same thing, but they sing for separate jacks or whatever, and they make it so that you can't shoot at them. They get +2 to hit and damage and stuff like that. And there's a third song they can sing, and I don't remember exactly what it is. Probably makes them faster, super sleek, I don't know, aerodynamic. And then he's got a little character in there that can actually, like, he's got like a tinier feat that he can pop and make it so basically they're invincible to anything but melee combat for a turn, which is huge. So, yeah, especially when he's coming up against an army like mine that likes to shoot. Next to them is a unit of grenade throwers, basically. These guys have Molotov cocktails in their hands, and they run out and they throw stuff at you, and it hurts. There's a character in there, or officer attachment in there, I'm not sure which, that makes it so that you can't shoot at them, or they can't be hurt by shooting. And then that crossbearer guy, he's an actual unit upgrade or something like that, too. And he does all sorts of crazy boosts and stuff for that unit. So you would think, well, what the hell good is hand grenaders in this game? Not a whole lot, unless you have it so that they can't really be hurt by ranged attacks. So yeah, that unit is super dangerous as well. Here's my right flank, and there's my Stormsmith and my gun mages. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my Sword Knights with Officer and a banner, my Scribe there right next to Nemo, and in front of Nemo is his Defender. And here's my left flank. From right to left, there's my Centurion, there's my Hammersmith, there's my Sentinel. Behind my Hammersmith and Sentinel is my Babycaster. And then over by the hill are my Hunter and my Gun Mage Officer. I went first, and here's what the end of the turn one looks like on the table. I did forget to move my Scribe. My opponent was classy enough after this picture to go, well, you know, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and move him. And so I moved him 5 inches up. He's a little bit further up later on. If you see it, no, I didn't cheat. My opponent said it was cool, so we're good. But I got a little more aggressive here because I didn't know what I was up against. The Hunter moved up onto the hill, and I figured with his 14-inch range, he should be able to do some good there. And if not, I can move him up. I got my Gun Mage Officer up over the hill because I figured if there was anything super sneaky coming up, I could afford to lose the Gun Mage Officer as opposed to a Jack. My Hammersmith, my Sentinel, my Centurion, and my Defender move forward. I put the Centurion and Defender into the forest because I had a feeling that's where those little psychopath women were going. And then if you're going to advance deploy them in the middle, I have a feeling you're going to shoot them forward and try to get into the forest and try to mess me up. So I figured if I was already in the forest, I could probably mess them up pretty good, especially with my Defender, my Sentinel, everything that's in there. As long as they could see them, I could shoot them up. My gun mages and my sword knights ran up, and that was as far as I could go with them. And I figured, why not? I might as well be in range. I figured with the grenade thrower guys, they weren't going to have that good a range, and anything else, if they shot at them, they're not shooting at my Jack, so I really don't care. The Stormsmith ran up as far as he could, and that was really it. I did get a handful of buff spells off. My little baby caster got Arcane Shield off on my Sentinel because it saved my Hunter's ass last time, and the Sentinel's kind of exposed. And it gave Nemo a extra little power die, so I can or a power token, so I can turn it into a focus token next turn. And that was it. That was my turn. So we go into my opponent's turn, and the first thing I get introduced to is rockets from his 3-shooting rocket guy. What's he called? Oh gosh, the Redeemer. The Redeemer. He shoots like a whole bunch of rockets. And the funny part is, even if he's inaccurate, as you can see, you point the little template like that. You see the way there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the middle? Well, you point the number 1 so that the arrow is pointing the direction of the shot from the thing that shot it. And then you roll a d6, and that's the direction it goes. And then you roll another d6, and that's how many inches it goes. So, yeah, as crazy as this is, he missed but still hit and ended up hitting 2 of my gun mages, I believe. And he kills 1, and the other one he doesn't kill, but he's on fire. And I think I've already described it, but when you're on fire at the beginning of my next turn, after focus is gone, but before I generate new focus and allocate it, I roll a d6 for every model that's on fire. If I roll a 1 or a 2, the fire goes out. If I roll a 3 to a 6, I take a POW 12 hit on that particular model. Well, the gun mage's armor is only 11, so if I roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6, that guy is dead as he burns alive. So, go figure. I kind of like the Protectorate guys, So that's really all that happens offensively in this turn for my opponent. He moves his crazy women up front into the forest and stuff like that, which I kind of expected and I'm ready for. His flamethrower guy, oh gosh, what is he called? The Repenter. That Jack is right up next to the forest, and he's getting ready to just burn my infantry alive. As you can see, the direction he's looking. His rocket guys over on my left flank there, they moved up and fired a bunch of shots, but missed. His big warjack and his baby warjack stayed behind, and the choir, what did they do? They sang the song where I couldn't shoot at them, just at all. It's just not allowed. They can't be heard at all by range. So, unless it was magical, and I didn't have any magical shots going his direction. Other than that, nothing else happened. So we go into my turn, and the first thing I do after getting rid of all my focus is roll a d6 for the poor guy that was on fire, and I rolled a 5, and he burned alive. So the gun mages, not happy that 2 of their order were obliterated and set on fire, moved up towards the guys that threw their grenades or whatever. And actually, it was the grenades. It wasn't rockets. It was grenades that hit me. And fired away. And I think I killed 3 of these guys. I believe, yes, I killed 3 of these guys. So I actually got revenge +1, and I'm feeling really good about that. Then over here, I just fired everything into these guys as best I could. My Sentinel, I only rolled 2 shots. It was really kind of frustrating, but both shots hit, wounded, and killed. The Defender got 1, and I believe even Nemo, no, not Nemo, somebody else got 1. I can't remember who, but in the end, 4 die, and there's only 2 ladies left, and they do make their command check, so what can you do? And then over here, my gun mage officer uses snipe and takes out one of the rocket men because, well, let's face it, it's got to start somewhere. So here's how turn 2 looks like, well, at the end of my turn 2 anyway. The gun mage, everything's kind of moved up to get better shots at things. The hunter moved up and stuff like that. And then the knights moved up to kind of screen the gun mages a little bit. I figured if he was shooting at the sword knights, the gun mages would last longer. Perfectly honest. I think if I keep the sword knights, they're going to lose the standard and the officer. And honestly, for 1 extra point, I could just make them like twice the size, and then they're just a more effective chaff unit, really. They just kind of soak up the attention, so the rest of my army gets ignored. The storm guy or whatever, he's running up to that rock, so we can start firing his spells off at the little hand grenade guys. And if the hand grenade guys look over at him and go after him instead of the gun mages, more power to them. The rest of my army just kind of, well, you already know where they went. So yeah, that's what we look like. During my opponent's turn, he takes the bait and fires a whole mess of grenades at my knights, killing 2 and setting 3 on fire, including my officer. So that's bad for them. And then this little bastard with the flamethrower, the, what's it called? The Repenter, he goes and shoots his 8-inch long spray all over my knights, which is really, really bad. In the end, I don't think he kills any of them, but he sets them all on fire and does 2 wounds to my officer, which is pretty much the end of that unit. Then over here, those rocket guys, they just start lobbing rocket after rocket. I mean, they do this combined rocket attack, but it's just so many shots. And then he fires, like he combined a bunch of the rockets together, and it adds to their ability to hit, but it doesn't add anything to their damage, but it does set you on fire. And as you can see, the one that hit did a few points of damage to my Sentinel, cleaning out my one side block there. And he sets him on fire, and my Centurion's on fire, but that's really about it. It's not a huge big deal. Then over here, the 2 ladies that were left in the woods advance over to where my knights are and smoke my standard bearer. That's it. The other one just completely missed. So that sucks. I would have preferred her killing a guy that was on fire, but it is what it is. What can you do? And then over here, the Reckoner, I think he is. Yeah, the heavy warjack of his fires whatever he has at him. The Condemner or whatever it is, a big-ass POW 13 flamethrower thing or whatever it is, at my Hammersmith and does, I believe, 5 points of damage, cleaning out my 4 block, which kind of sucks, and setting him on fire. So it's like, come on! But there's what the table looks like at the end of my opponent's turn two, and for the most part, not a ton of movement that I didn't already mention. His middle group kind of move up a little bit, but that's really about it. And that's really it. Just the stuff that I didn't already mention just kind of moves to keep up with the stuff that I did mention. So we go into my turn, and the first thing that I do is roll for all my fire, and my officer and two of my knights die. They do make their command check though, so that's something. And then my hunter, I activate him because his little flamey throwery guy or whatever, the repenter, his back is exposed to my hunter. So my hunter moves up, opens fire, and I boost to wound, and I ended up doing 9, 10, 11, 12 points of damage to this guy, which was absolutely amazing. Very pleased. I blew off his right arm, which is his war flail, which is great because now in close combat he's useless, and I got two knights sitting over there. So they've got this ability called penetrating strike, and if they hit something, they can just, instead of rolling damage, they can just choose to do 1 point of damage to something. And so it's great for like these guys. I'm not going to do a ton of damage to it, but I can nickel and dime it for a while, which is always fun. And then the Sentinel comes over and fires at the rocket guys, and I think he kills three of them, three or four. It's a really good shot. They do make their command check, and they don't run away or anything, but the Sentinel is doing his job very nicely by taking care of all those, infantry pests that I'm running into. And then over here, my gun mages kill off the two psychopath females with the sharp swords that were bothering my poor knights. And then my knights charge into, what's its face, the repenter, and they're each able to hit, and they just do their penetrating strike, doing one wound each, so a total of two more wounds on him. It's not going to kill him, but not only is he now stuck in combat, but he can't use that stupid flamethrower anymore. His flail, he only gets 1d6 plus his mat in order to attack me, and his mat's not terrible, but the knight's defense is pretty good, and I think it's a 13, so he can't even hit him without boosting, and he's not going to put focus on that, not to kill knights. So it's kind of nice. I like where this is going now. So so here's what the table looks like at the end of turn 3. My Stormsmith moved over to try to cast a spell on the little grenade thrower guys. Unfortunately, I rolled an 11, so it just wasn't going to happen. The rest of my mechs my Centurion and my Defender move through the forest in order to try to just get in the fight next turn. My other mechs are running over there. My Hunter, you know what he did, you know what my Sentinel did, but my Hammersmith is getting ready to go after the big heavy warjack, the Reckoner, just because I want to see what he does. My Gun Mage officer did plank off one of the little rocket guys. I just forgot to take a picture. Meanwhile, Nemo and his scribe move up to be on the edge of the forest. I don't want him too close, but I don't want him too far away either. And the baby guy just tries to keep up with the hunter and the hammersmith. That's about it. So we go into my opponent's turn, and his big heavy warjack, the Reckoner, charges my Hammersmith, ends up on the side. He's got reach, which gives him a 2-inch melee combat as opposed to a 1/2 inch. And he puts an attack on my Hammersmith, doing a decent amount of damage, and an attack on my Sentinel, also doing a decent amount of damage, but not enough to destroy any of his systems, which is really good because I need both of those guys in order to finish this Reckoner off now. Plus, the Reckoner is way far away now from any kind of support, so I'm hoping the combined attacks of my Hammersmith, my Sentinel, and my Hunter is enough to destroy this thing before any of his little buddies can run up and help him out in any way, shape, or form. Then over here, the grenade guys ignore the gun mages and fire away at the Stormsmith and kill him. And that's actually a lie. Some of them ignored, because you can shoot at different units, it doesn't matter. So a few of them shot at the Stormsmith and killed him, and then what was left fired away at my gun mages, killing 2. They do make their command check, which is nice, but now they're pissed. And then over here, I don't remember what does it, but something takes a pot shot at my hunter and it blows his long arm gun away. Which, I mean, I can still use it and stuff, but it really, really sucks. That's what it was. It was a rocket. He combined all of his shots. He only hit the hunter and he was able to do enough damage to destroy my right arm. So I still can shoot. I just can't shoot with the effectiveness that I had before. And I'm sorry, it's my left arm where the long arm is. So here's what the board looks like at the end of my opponent's turn 3. Like I said, his rocket guys moved up so they could shoot, and they ended up hitting the hunter. The weird thing with the book moved up and is just kind of doing his thing. The choir guys moved around so they could start singing at the jacks that are left, and that's really about it. So it's definitely getting to be a close game. We're really mashing the crap out of each other. So we go into my turn, and the first things that my gun mages do is they back the hell off. I realized, what am I doing? My range is much better than their range. So all I have to do is back off, use sniper, and I can plink away at these guys, and they'd have to almost run in order to get in a range of me. And yeah, I know the deviations and stuff like that, if he misses, could still hit me, but they could hit him too. So I fall back, and my gun mages shoot at the guy with the big cross and kill him, which is good because he was giving them all sorts of bonuses, and I really don't like that. And then during his turn, my opponent cast something onto Repenter that made it so that after he got attacked in melee combat, he can choose to fall back, run a full movement away, and that's what ended up happening. I ended up hitting him. I think I shot at him with the hunter again, even though he was in combat, and I just didn't care. But I put 2 points or 2 focus points on the hunter, and I used the first one in order to hit, or in order to boost it a hit. So I rolled 2 dice instead of one, and I hit. And then I and then I boosted the damage roll. And I didn't do a ton of damage. I think it was like 7 points of damage or whatever, 6 or 7 points of damage. It was enough, and I ended up almost killing him. He's only got a block left, like 5 wounds left. Most of his stuff is destroyed, but it was really effective. But once I hit him, he ran off. He left where the knights were. I couldn't do anything, so kind of sucks, but I should have paid more attention. He told me what the spell did, and it just didn't occur to me, so I blame myself. But then we go over here, and my Hammersmith obliterates the Reckoner, and it's absolutely outstanding. I'm not even kidding, guys. This thing, I hit with my left hammer. I boosted my to hit with the left hammer. Then I hit and I did a bunch of damage. Then I boosted the hit with the right hammer and I hit and I did a bunch of damage. And then I just boosted the. I didn't even bother to boost the hit with the it's called a chain attack. If the left and the right hammer hits, then you get this chain attack where basically you just bring down the thunder and you hit them with both hammers and you do an insane amount of damage after his armor absorbed 19 points of it. I still did 14 points of damage to this thing, destroying it. It was absolutely fan freaking tastic. So incredibly proud of my Hammersmith. And that attack right there, seeing him take a fully functional, undamaged heavy warjack and smashing it into oblivion like that. Oh, oh my gosh, you better believe he's going to be in the army for the rest of existence. That was awesome. And not only that, but he knocked him back like 5 inches because the final attack, after it hits, it knocks him back d6 inches no matter what the damage is. So yeah, each hammer did a tremendous amount of damage, and then the thunder slam that he did afterwards not only knocked him back like 5 or 6 inches, but destroyed him outright. Just absolutely flawless. I love that guy. And then the combined attacks of the Sentinel and my Gun Mage took out all but 3 of the Rocket guys, making them mostly useless now. So that was really cool. So here's what the board looks like at the end of the game. I brought Nemo up into the forest so he could keep the Sentinel in range in the 16-inch bubble. I brought him up a little bit further than I needed to, granted, but I wanted him in the forest. I wanted him to get moving forward because I noticed that my opponent was bringing his choir guys up, and I wanted to be able to move Nemo up and possibly pop them with chain lightning and kill a whole bunch of them. I know it's a little dangerous. I know it was a little crazy, but I figured I'd do a wall of jacks because the one jack that he had that I was really worried about is destroyed now. The other one is, really, really damaged on the side there, and the third one is perfectly healthy, but I just didn't see it as much of a threat. Other than that, yeah, the defender moved up and took a pot shot at old what's his face, what is he called? The flamethrower guy that's really, really damaged, but I missed. And the one remaining knight, because the other one burned to death, is just kind of hanging out there. I didn't really think to move him. Honestly, I just kind of forgot. So I blame myself. Other than that, yeah, you're looking at the way everything is. During my opponent's phase, first thing he does is he starts firing rockets at the hunter, and he does a bunch of damage to him, which sucks. And then he moves his little engineer, his mechanic guy, up against this thing, the flamethrower guy, what is he, the repenter, and he heals like 6 points of damage off him. I was like, oh, come on! He was almost dead! And then the flamethrower guy, now that he's all repaired up, moves up and does his flamethrower thing against my knight. And my defender, he does 3 points of damage to my defender and sets him on fire, which sucks. Then over here, his rocket jack fires at my centurion, and one of the damn rockets deviates perfectly and slams right on top of Nemo's head, doing like 6 or 7 wounds to him. It's really, really bad, and sets him on fire because it was a crit. It was like the perfect deviation at the perfect time, and Nemo's burning alive. It's like, shoot! If I had not moved Nemo into the forest, he'd be fine. Oh, I was so upset. And then over here, I don't remember what does it, but more hate goes after my poor hunter. I think it's actually more rocket shots from his Jack, the Redeemer, and it deviates off the Centurion and lands on the hunter, doing more damage to him, which sucks. So that was really it. Here's the end of my opponent's turn 4. His hand grenader guys ran up because they wanted to try to kill Nemo. They ran so they couldn't shoot this turn, which I think my opponent forgot because he started trying to shoot, and I was like, "You ran, you can't shoot, can he?" He was like, "Oh no." He's still new. He's got like, I think he told me he's got like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks on me, and that's it. So what can you do? So we're pretty evenly matched when it comes to experience at this game, which is awesome. I mean, what a perfect individual for me to play against, right? And yeah, the rest of his stuff, his choir pretty much stayed where they are because they're in really good position. His rocket guy, and pretty much everything stayed in position other than the stuff that I've already mentioned. So he's definitely got a pretty good plan going on here. So we begin my turn, and I almost lose the game right here. Nemo fails to put the fire out and takes all but 1 point of damage. So he's got 1 hit point left. He's still on fire, and I don't have a clue what to do to put him out. So it's like, oh no. So yeah, that sucks. And then my hunter also gets burned a bit more. It gets past his armor, and now he's only got a little bit left. He's still got 1M, 1C, and his entire right arm left, but he is hurting bad, and I don't know what to do to fix it. So we go into my turn, and Nemo activates, and I'm desperate. I've got 1 hit point left on Nemo. I know this is an all-or-nothing turn. If I don't kill his Warcaster this turn, I'm epa-screwed. Nemo's not going to be able to get up to do anything, but if I don't kill off these little grenaders, I'm in trouble. So Nemo runs up and fires his chain lightning off into these grenaders, killing all but 1. They fail their command check, so that was worth it, and now they're just going to have to stand there or flee. It's completely up to him. But then I remember my gun mages, and I say, screw that. The gun mages run up and finish off the little hand grenade guys. So I was very happy about that. And it just felt good to kill a unit, you know? Over here, my gun mage officer plinks off another rocket guy, and that was just status quo. And then I move up everything I can that can shoot in order to get a shot off on Fiora, because if I don't kill her this turn, I'm screwed. But my Sentinel, I had 3 focus on him, and the hope was just boosting to wound. I didn't know what her defense was, but my Sentinel's rat is pretty good. So I was just gonna hope for average dice rolls. I did the strafe, whatever, the D6 shots at her, and I rolled a 1. Oh my god, I rolled a 1. I mean, I boosted the damage and the hit because why not? But as you can see, I was only able to do about 7 points of damage to her. Which, had I been able to roll a 3 or a 4, I would have probably been able to kill this chick. But no, it wasn't meant to be. I ended up only rolling a 1 and failing. Very disappointed. But the Sentinel did have the potential. Unfortunately, I rolled like ass at a real critical point. So that's it. Here's what the game looks like, or what the table looks like at the end of 5. But I got to be honest, I was so disappointed. I also found out that my defender could not see over the infantry to shoot at Fiona. I thought I had her, so I moved my defender out in order to kill the old, what's it called, the Fiona or whatever. But it turns out, even though I'm a bigger base, I can't see over the infantry models to another smaller base, which really disappointed me. I thought I would be able to, but I misunderstood that rule. So my defender ended up just taking a pot shot at one of the choir guys and killing him. I don't even care what. It didn't matter. And that was really disheartening. My Centurion moves up, and he sits right there, so that if I do survive another turn, I can charge something and maybe stick a spear in it. My Hunter moved up to shoot at Fiona, or Fiora, or whatever, but missed. My Hammersmith moved up so that if by some act of God I'm still around next turn, he could possibly charge something and make a difference. But there was just nothing else I could think to do or anything of the sort, and I'm just devastated that my Sentinel didn't roll higher than a 1 for the amount of shots. Ugh. So we go into my opponent's turn, and he kills off one of his choir guys with his guy, what's it called? With his, oh gosh, with his Repenter. Sorry, I'm still learning the names. To clear a path for his general. As you can see, that beautiful painted model on the back there. You know, she needed a path forward, and there's the end of the turn 5. My opponent's turn 5. He just kind of shoots his general up into the forest because she has a special rule that if she's within 12 inches of any model that's on fire, the fire can't go out. It just keeps burning you. And with Nemo having only 1 hit point left, he has armor 14. And he's, you know, it's a POW 12 shot, and I didn't think to leave focus on him. I didn't think to heal with focus or anything of the sort. He's dead. And that's what happens when we go into his turn. Even if he rolled Snake Eyes, it didn't matter, but he didn't. He rolled like a 9 or an 11 or something crazy. So even if I had healed all the wounds that I could with 8 or 9 focus or whatever I could have had on him, it still wouldn't have been enough. My opponent would have killed Nemo, so it's all moot, and it's very disappointing, and it's sad, but what a remarkable way to go. You know, it's absolutely crazy. And there it is. There's the end of the game. Nemo is on fire in the forest, and everyone's laughing. Such an outstanding game, though. I don't even mind telling you. This was so close. And it was just those random flying rockets. They were aiming at my Centurion, and it hits Nemo right in his pie hole and explodes him. Oh, so well played by my opponent too. I mean, capitalized on a great shot and just won the game, and rightfully so. The man deserved to win, and I have no problem with this loss whatsoever. An amazingly fun game, and we'll get to the recap in a minute though, because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys and gals, all you wargamer nuts. Right here, we've got an ad for Token Gal. She makes tokens for every game system, every possible requirement, every need. If it's a war game, if it's a tabletop game, if it's a board game, if it's a card game, if you need tokens, wound counters, spell counters, afflictions, hexes, augments, anything at all, send her an email. Tell her what you need. Hell, if you want certain pictures put on there, tell her what pictures you're looking for. Not only will she find it and make it, but she will charge you, really, really fair prices. And I mean really fair. Don't take my word for it, though. Send her an email. Tell her what you need. Get yourself some tokens. You're not going to regret it. And tell her Tremendous sent you. So, yeah, what a crazy defeat for me this was. Poor Nemo is still smoldering in the woods. And trust me, I know something about burning models. I ended up losing Nemo, my knights, my knight officer and banner dude, and my stormsmith. Really not heavy losses considering what I'm used to. My opponent ended up losing his Reckoner, his Holy Zealots, his Monolith Bearer, and his Daughters of the Flame. So, with the exception of my Warcaster, we were very, very close on losses. I mean, just what we lost and stuff like that. But this was just an incredibly good game, incredibly close, and the ending was so unexpected. Just the way Nemo died is hilarious. I'm sorry, it is. I don't even care. I'm thrilled that I'm able to do this battle report like this because that was tremendous. I don't even mind, the self-gratification. It was amazing. The rocket was aimed for the Centurion and deviated onto Nemo, blew him up, set him on fire until he just burned alive. How crazy is that? Burning damage is brutal. But the good parts of this, whatever, my Hammersmith has solidified his place in my army. He single-handedly took down a Reckoner by himself. I know I rolled well. I admit that fully. Do I expect it every game? Hell no. But the Hammersmith proved exactly what I was hoping to see. That if he hits, with both of those hammers, that third hit is going to be devastating. And it was. It just smashed that thing into pieces, and I cannot wait to do that again. Oh my god, imagine if I got a hold of a light jack. Just scattered ass all over the place. But this game, I definitely felt like things are starting to come together. In my head, I know I still lost. I know I still made plenty of mistakes, and I totally accept that. But I feel like I took a major step forward in understanding and playing this game well. Hell, had it not been for the perfect AoE deviation and my opponent capitalizing on it beautifully, I had a really good chance to win. I'm not saying I would have won. I'm not saying that at all. My opponent was very good, and there's every chance in the world that he still would have killed me. But I really felt like I had a chance in this game after like the second turn. I was like, we're pretty evenly matched here. I got a solid shot here. So it's not saying that I would have won, not at all. But I felt like, you know what? I've got a chance now. This is a possibility, and it's very exciting. Playing against another war machine army was very, very different than what I'm used to. And for a solid turn, like the first turn, I didn't have a friggin' clue what to do. I had no idea what I was facing. And when he started setting my stuff on fire, that's when I realized I had to move. I realized he was targeting my infantry, which was fine. I care about my jacks and my casters. My infantry is for fodder. If you gotta kill it, you gotta kill it. But I was really just kind of blank. I was like, oh my gosh, all I know is Scorn, and I don't really know what to do against Scorn. So this is crazy dangerous. I don't know. And then it was just react. I had to move forward. I should have been more aggressive with my Centurion. I really regret putting him in the forest. That was stupid. But lesson learned. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. I could be next game. He just starts in the forest and just stays there the whole time. I have no idea. Sometimes I take a step back, but I really got to be more aggressive with the Centurion. I'm really toying with moving or swapping him out with a different type of Jack. Definitely another Jack, but the Centurion just, I'm not using him right. I'm sure there's a really intelligent, really useful way to use him, but I'm not. And I think I can use his points better elsewhere, especially now that I know about Jack Marshals, and I could just put my Hunter on the Gun Mage officer. And I really need to find out, and if you know, please put it in the comment section, whether or not if I put the Hunter in with the Gun Mage officer, if the Hunter gets to use the Gun Mage officer's special shots when he takes his shot. Because if that's the case, having snipe on that guy would be... Oh, it'd be so juicy. Oh, I can't even begin to tell you how exciting that would be. But yeah, I really like that too. I like the way that when I'm playing against a different army, it's a whole new mindset. It's a whole new set of tactics, a whole new strategy. You know, nothing that works against Scored is going to work against the Protectorate and vice versa, for the most part. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Protectorate are no joke. Burning my infantry to death, even when he failed to wound them, was really hard to deal with. And his jacks had so many more shots and so much better shots than I was. Really, really impressive. It was the burning, though. It was the fact that even if he didn't really hurt you with the initial shot, that burning really sucks. But other than the Hunter, or I'm sorry, the Hunter did really, really good. That shot to the back of that one guy doing like 12 points of damage, that was amazing. I really liked that Hunter's ability where he lowers your armor by half and then he does his, damage to you. That's huge, especially against the high armor targets and stuff like that. Really like the Hunter. Really, really like the Hunter. But like I've said 100 times, this was just probably one of the most incredible games of War Machine I've ever played. I know I've only played 5, I know that, but this one was really, really fun. I mean, it was just so close, and the ending was epic, just absolutely epic. And I might have a soft spot for people burning to death, or well, models burning to death, not actual people. I'm not a psychopath. Not really. But again, this is an incredibly fun game. It was an incredibly fun opponent. I'm really, really looking forward to playing against this guy again, and I can't wait for a rematch. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report, number 5 of my War Machine Hordes content. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys. Thanks.